Okay.
So this is like check.
Okay. Check. Right.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Teniola. We are coming across my YouTube channel for the first time, and
This is still check. Yes, so that's fine. I can't say rubbish. So, anyways, my name is Jide jblaze Oyegbile. I'm an actor and a filmmaker based in Lagos, Nigeria.
so people ask me that where is like the balance between like medical school and like media stuff. So
Right.
you are our example. So
Okay.
and for the fact that you also finished from Bowen,
Mhm.
so you give us more realistic things.
Okay. So you don't live and do not practice medicine or something, yeah.
And you chuckled like after he said you're like, I don't want to be a bad
It's true now.
influence.
You know, you guys have like, before your lecturers will say, see that useless boy that we trained in the school, see where he
Oh,
is.
okay.
But of course, I don't think anybody's going to say that, to be honest. I don't think anyone will say that.
So today we have the amazing jblaze in our video, and he has blessed us with his presence. It's not really easy. It's not every day you get to sit side to side with a celeb.
So I tell people, most people that know me as Jide or Oyegbile is because they know that I studied medicine somehow. Every other person
That's known you in media.
anybody that knows me in media knows me as jblaze. You get, and I mean, I don't shy away from telling you that I'm a doctor because I paid for that shit.
I think it's actually cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, I can call you Egbo.
No, I'm still too young for that. I'm still so.
Small Egbo.
Egbo reminds me that I'm getting old, and I'm not getting old. Nah, I'm jblaze. Jblaze is fine.
It's too
Jblaze
long.
is calm. Jblaze is long. Teniola. Jblaze, that's all. Jblaze, that's all. Like, easy.
First of all, I would love to know something about your childhood. Like, can you tell us about your family, like how you grew up?
I have just one junior brother. I was born in Jos, Plateau State, Kauna Hospital. Is it Kauna? Kauna Hospital in Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria. Like I said earlier on, I have just one junior brother. His name is Fola.
Is he a doctor too?
No, he's a subsea engineer.
Oh, that's
Yeah. So that's the little sibling I have. Parents are still alive. We moved from Jos to Ibadan because of the crisis. I really can't remember the year specifically because I mean I was too young. I think it was like 5, 7, 8. I don't know. Moved to Ibadan where I attended Bishop Finn Primary School. Then moved to Nickdale Private School. Then attended Olaotan Baptist Model School where I had my secondary school days. Yeah, Olaotan is in Ibadan. That's like the best school in Ibadan. Right, Olaotan is the best school in Ibadan, if not in Nigeria, but yeah, Olaotan. OBMS, a lot of people know that's OBMS. There are only two schools I used to drag in Ibadan that time, OBMS and one other school like that, ISI, whatever their name is.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to go to ISI one time in my life.
Thank God you didn't go to ISI. So I did my A levels, Cambridge A levels at EAC in Ibadan also. I did a pre-degree medicine at Lautech. Yeah, I think the Lautech one was before the A levels. Left Lautech and then went to A levels. Popsu was not happy with Lautech like that. It felt like his son was gonna get spoiled. So I think
I
so.
understand.
It took me out of Lautech and did my A levels, and then from A levels, resumed Bowen University in 2008. Yeah,
How tall am I? I was like in primary 4
Eh,
or
wow.
5 in 2008.
Wow. I mean, you're here now, so.
So like, did you want to do medicine or like just your parents?
I absolutely love medicine.
I
So
see.
the thrill of my dad is a doctor, one, and as a young chap, it was just exciting seeing this man in a white coat and everybody's respecting him. And there's this, even people that are older than him are like, good afternoon. So I'm like, what's in this thing? Waiting there, what's going on? Why are they respecting this man this much? This is the person that we're seeing at home and we're vibing with now. And it's exciting when it saves lives. Like you see how we save life, and you see how people are happy, and it feels like you're giving people a second chance in life. And I felt like, you know what, this is what I want to do. I want to give people a second chance in life. I want to give them another opportunity. I want to put a smile on their faces. I mean, not all the time. Now that post school, there's the good and the bad. There's the one you tell the bad news, and the one you tell the good news.
Yeah.
But you know, you do more of saving lives than the other instead, right? And that's something I just love to do. And then I found out that, oh, you have to operate on people. It was exciting to operate on people, and because I already had that background knowledge from my dad, I think it was sort of easy. Even though that I knew that I've always wanted to do film, I know I was going to do film, but it just makes sense in Nigeria business wise for job security that you do something that is recognized, something that will make your parents proud also, and you too proud. I'm like, if there's anything I'm gonna do, it's gonna be medicine and surgery, and so that at home, Pops will not be thinking like he's the only one that has brain like that now. So let's be like two, and
Wow.
like what's the tough course? Waiting tough
Okay.
for that medicine. Maybe we'll go run out, right? And yeah, though I didn't want a private school, I didn't want Bowen University. Bowen University was far from me. Never. I wanted to flex. After going to Lautech, I'm like, nah, I can't go to
Bubbly.
private uni. But at that point in time, the vice chancellor was, he's my uncle, or was my uncle as a vice chancellor then. And because of that, yeah, and they, oh, we're going to start medicine soon. Let your son come around. And my dad was excited. Private school, KG Mob. That's fun.
KG
Then
Mob.
they took me to Bowen University. And I started with, because there was no medicine then, I started with biochemistry. And then medicine started, and then we now switched to medicine. And then they said there was something wrong with accreditation. And then we did, our set started intercalated. So we're like the first set of
I'll give
medical
you that
students.
intercalated
So
gist.
we now started intercalated, and I picked anatomy. I was just excited about anatomy. Anatomy was easy. Before I go to med school, I've already been going to, my dad, I've seen him in the theater, I've seen how he works on patients, he has taken me to the morgue before. So anatomy as a student, it just felt like numb. I wasn't really scared of the dead bodies, I wasn't scared of the cadavers or anything. It was just exciting. You're opening your atlas and you're seeing it here, you're opening it. I'm like, anatomy is easy peasy. It's what you see here that you see here. Unlike physiology where you're still cracking your brain like, what's the happen? Okay, they are telling me that it's this. I'm not seeing it now, do you get? So I felt like there's only BSc I was going to do, was going to be anatomy. And then I picked anatomy, and then I liked the anatomy lecturers then more than the physiology lecturers at that point in time. But there was still one physiology lecturer I like, that's Dr. Okoyo, so but that is different.
Oh, okay, I
And
came back.
yeah,
during
he's
that.
back.
He came back, but he left. He had left.
It's an exciting human being. Like his
Yeah.
personality is just dope.
Yeah,
It's probably one of the
chillest.
few reasons why we enjoy physiology classes. We don't mind going to and say, but then I just picked anatomy, and I also wanted to pass and do well, so I didn't want wahala. So let me just pick my anatomy. I did anatomy BSc and MBBS, medicine and surgery. Obviously, by then accreditation is back, and I don't know. We spent a long time. When did we leave? Maybe like 16 or
was
something.
it? 2016.
Yeah, I think we left 16. That was first set, so
Yeah,
it was like 16. That was
I know first
like
set.
8 years or
First
something.
set did convocation. You guys did your induction when I was in 100 level, and you were all looking old. Like I passed by. I think it was a Cout. Your induction was
Yeah,
a
was it Cout? What's Cout again? I'm trying to
Cout
remember
is
Cout
that
again. Is that the one close to the boys' hostel?
hostel, yeah, like opposite boys hostel, yes.
Yeah, that
And
was
I passed. I'm like, why are you guys looking so old? Everybody was taking pictures of their parents. And so I'm like, we still the 100 level, we still they do physics.
Like to
chemistry.
think, to think that I even had older classmates. Like, nah, boys don't take. And I was like, nah, that's. I mean, it was fun. I mean, while it lasted, it was fun. Like eight and a half years or so. 8.5 years, but it wasn't bad. Coming out with the BS in anatomy and MBS medicine and surgery, I mean that's fine.
Yeah, it's
You know.
important.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, so like at what point did you like know that you were going to act, like you were going to movie making?
I've been acting since I was 7. Yes, I was stage church. So I stayed church. And it was serious business. Like everybody knew the drama group because I also went to Ritamefa Baptist Church, Even though that's the school I went to also, but yeah, everybody knew the drama group in church. It was serious business, and we kind of changed a lot of things as regards what the drama group looked like. We were more daring. We were competing with choir. Like, why would choir have to how are they going to present every week and we cannot present every week? Like, what's that? And we felt like in most churches we are, picking choir ahead of drama, but we came and we're not ready for those dramas. So we did that, and then in OBMS, I was part of the drama group also, right from I wanted to say on the level from GSS1. From GS1, I was part of the drama group. Somewhere in SS1, I think Damilola Mike Bamiloye joined OBMS and were like classmates and stuff. So I sort of got involved in some drama administration by Mount Zion, and then we got to do like bigger stage dramas. I know we did one at Chapel of Resurrection in UI. That was probably like the biggest experience at that point in time for me, in a big hall without mic or stuff. I can't remember. I just know that I was shouting at the top of my voice because they need to hear us. Do you understand? Yeah, so I did that then, and from there I went to Bowen again, and Damilola is in Bowen again, and it was easy. Though I paused a year because I did the pre-degree left and right. He had already gotten to school, so it was in 200, I was in 100. But then he was able to put me through, and then I joined the drama group in church. I mean, school rather, and I mean, it's church and school, both BBSF, right?
BBSF.
Then NLT. I mean, it was fun.
There was NLT during your time.
Wait, NLT has gone.
No, it's still there.
I
thought it was like. I
No.
think it was like.
No, NLT don't deal. NLT.
So what is it now?
AGA.
Why
I
is it
think
not
was beside
NLT as a new lecture theatre? What's not new about
It was new that time.
Oh, it was new.
So it was new that time. I think it was like the biggest, and I think they're also using that as an. Is that an extension where the females go to, is it Thursday Chapel there, and then the male, because they hadn't built the chapel when I was in school. The chapel was under construction, so the males go to. No, it's not Lompos. Is it? Well, there's one cafeteria right beside the male hostel. That's a long one. They use it for dinners now. Just in front of the field.
White, is it Y2K?
Is it white? I think it's white. But there are two like this. They're divided. Yeah. So that's where they used to use for the chapel that time. And then the girls were using NLT. So obviously it couldn't contain everybody. So like that. And then they now built the chapel that can now contain everybody. And everybody starts attending the chapel. The main, is it 5,000? It says 5,000 staff, but I think it's bigger than 5,000. Yeah, so, doing dramas there, I just knew that it was still going to be film. It was just me trying to combine it with medicine. And then I ended up being in 2 films. So those were my first on-screen experience. It was Mount Zion. One was Fiwajomi and one was Abobaku.
I think I've not watched any, but I think I've heard of Fiwajomi.
No, you entered really late, trust me. Because there was a time that, I think the year we shot Fiwajomi, from the next year, once you're coming in, it's part of your starter package. The CD is there. I don't know if you're going to pay for it. I can't remember, but I know that.
I know I've actually heard a lot.
Yes, now with everything you're getting the whole thing. Yeah, I feel like Bowen could have capitalized enough on that stuff and make more films. It would have been such a big. Which number? I've only heard of Wajame and Abubakar. Anyone they've done, it's not exactly got into my head. I've not heard of seen that. So something is just off. And when I left after Abubakar, I know that. Yeah, after Abubakar, I know that. I think we tried. We were trying to see if we could make another one because by that time, Damilola Bamley was he has left Bowen University then, but there was no continuing. There's nothing. I don't see why they shouldn't have. I think that they should have capitalized on that. People don't even use CDs anymore right now. But then create a YouTube page, put it there, start doing stuff to the school. Like there's just so much.
But have you guys you alumnus? Have you guys thought of going back
to do what exactly?
To go and gather your young chaps.
So
movie stuff.
I think that the school. I do not even know if the school itself recognized the fact that they have people that are doing this thing outside already, and they're doing it on a big scale. Do you understand? And if they don't recognize that, why exactly are we going back to them? What are we going to do? Do you get? And of course, when you go back, it definitely has to be gospel inclined, right? So are they willing to accept the fact that um, there are new ways to make films that are gospel inclined?
They're not willing, don't worry.
So you see, I don't know. So I think it's complicated. I think that sometime we're probably going to go back and do that. But I know that Bowen has churned out a lot of talents that know what they're doing. There's Eva, there is Kiki, there's people that are big in the industry. Do you understand? I know what they're doing. I mean, I don't know if I'm big yet, though, but yeah, but there are people that are big in the industry and know what they're doing, and they can capitalize on that and make stuff for the school. School is going to profit from it. They can hone the skills. They can build the whole excellence and godliness for the students via that means. And yeah, I mean, right? Yeah. Exactly. and the students will feel like, in fact, it's going to be a selling point for the school, because now before you get into school, you somehow have watched, maybe if you watch Jamie, you watch Abubaku, and you're like, it's in the school they are doing this. They're very few, I don't even think there's any other school that does stuff like that, right? You feel like that means when you get into this school, there's a possibility that you can push your talent through that.
So you know that voice is shaking.
But I told you.
Have they used you for God in movie before?
No. I don't think so.
Kind of voice.
I don't think so, but I know that I've done a lot of voiceovers for a couple of things, but yeah. But
I think they should use your voice as God, like.
For God?
Yes.
No,
Have you heard your voice?
They can pay me. I can't hear my voice. I only know that whenever people tell me, if I'm trying to whisper, they're like, bro, you're not whispering.
No, don't whisper. Don't try it. What was like your MB period like first MB I have to transition to boot. Did you you had to pause other things that you were doing?
So I think first let me start by when we transitioned into preclinicals, because our case was from sciences
from physics to
college of
anatomy
health sciences. Yeah. So we're coming from a biochemistry place where we're getting good scores, and we started with there's something we used to call these exams before MB. No, it's not comprehensive. It's not like end of posting in something. In courses. So we did the in courses and we saw Shaggy. So people,
what kind of Shaggy?
No, I'm not even joking. I know people that they are brilliant and they feel like they are brilliant. You know, that's worse. And they will get normally something, they're not getting 50, 51. And it feels like, so it's not like, how did they mark it? What happened? Right? Then we did in course, all of them. There's a time that I flunked in course a lot one time. So I just checked it, but then I checked my score. It will be 49. I just look down. How many people are below me? Oh, we plenty now. So no, let's go. And then we see everybody has seen ourselves, we greet ourselves. We now ended up doing a lot of in courses as regards the fact that we do not have accreditation to write the MB. In fact, I think I'm trying to remember if I'm certain there was a time that we actually sat down with the all to write MB and we didn't write MB. We sat down, we felt
you
this
read
is
for it,
we don't read, everybody don't ready now. Everybody don't ready. We thought I would write the MB that day, but there's now something about accreditation. You still don't have accreditation. I'm like, so every single time they tell us, oh, your MB is going to be in 2 weeks time, we're like, we go try to read this time, but now let's see. And something will come up again, they moved it until eventually they now said, oh, they've given us accreditation for 30. I think they have 30 students, max of 30 students. And fortunately for us, my set were 23 students right from the get-go. So that covers everybody. But the first MB was tough because the first MB, they had to send their representative from MDCN also. So forget your own invigilator as your staff, there's MDCN also there. They are writing, they are standing beside you looking at what you're writing. Even if you know it, you first run away, whatever it is, you're like, sir, please don't look at my paper, just let me just write this thing and submit.
When they look at your paper and they shake head.
Do you understand? I'm like, bros, I beg, leave this thing alone. I beg. Do you get? So first MB was tough like that. And even our own teachers, I don't know if they were trying to prove a point to MDCN that you see these are students, we have taught them well. They're not making the questions so hard. The questions were so difficult. And when they now posted the first results, I know I passed biochemistry. No, was it biochemistry? I know I had to resit one of the exams, either anatomy or one of them. I was just looking at my life. How was I going to tell Popsy that I'm going to resit? Because first he's a doctor, so there's no explanation. I can't even lie and say and we've written 2. The remaining one we'll write it later and then use Bobo based on say receipt. Now we'll write it, and then that one you have to pay for it again. So I think that happened. A lot of us, people had receipt, and fortunately for us, I think we were not set to go to the clinicals yet.
But the clinical was not set to receive you.
Yeah, one of like those set. And our first set. So we did that, and before they were set, we were already done with receipt. So everybody moved at the same time again. Okay. I think that was it. So nobody felt some form of stigma. Even though, I mean, I feel like my mental health is so fucking strong. And even while we were on campus, I mean, out of 23 of us, I feel maybe like 8 or 9, I can't remember how many of us wrote receipts or something. And we're still on the same campus with other students while our mates are chilling at home, resting to resume in boats. Their own is confirmed. And we're like, no, now. We're just chilling now, right? Let's write the exam. And in all honesty, I think that every single time we write an exam, all my receipts, I keep asking myself, how did I feel this thing again? Because it looks so easy. And then because maybe I was combining a lot of things with medicine, I wasn't necessarily putting so much attention to reading. So I mean, that was that one, and then we moved to boot, and I mean, boot was fun. I think it was fun for us.
Because like you had like some amount of freedom that you didn't have.
Yeah, that freedom to start with. Freedom was a lot. Yeah. But even though the freedom was there, some people were trying to make life difficult for us.
Yeah, we always have them.
It felt like the moment we got to boot, some people just looked at us and like, why are these people happy? Like it was just around, like you can sense it from consultants and senior reg and reg. They just looked at why are these people. In fact, it got to a point that it was so bad that if you were using earpiece, you're in trouble. Like, see, why are you walking around with earpiece?
Why are you using earpiece?
I'm not even on the road.
Why are you glad?
Like, do you understand? What's wrong with you people? And then, I don't know if this man is still there. There's still one man again that if you just mistakenly cross the lawn, you're in big trouble. Do you understand? It was one of our consultants. Yeah, it was a consultant now. So, yeah, and because the lawn, you're in big trouble. And everybody came to both excited. The fact that we can get out of the gate, and they were also trying to figure out the rules and regulations with us. So there was no really set down rules and regulations. And one good thing they had was they had the best, is it provost? No, it's not provost, the best CMD. Which was Professor Yeson.
That was your best CMD.
Yes, now.
He was our provost.
No, you couldn't enjoy it. You don't know what's going on. Professor Yeson was like the best. I think our provost was Adebo, Professor Adebo, the late Professor Adebo, was the provost, and Yeson was just fantastic. It felt like he connected with us. He was also having fun with us, and as much as he was free with us, he was also strict as regards making sure that you have stuff in your head. Yeah. So even when you don't like, no, now, Oyegbile is not like that. You should have. How can you be failing this thing?
He's still like that, like.
No, but that's him. That's him. I saw Professor Yeso when I came for the talent something, and then I drove. He was driving. I drove, and I parked in front of him, and he didn't even know it was me at first. He was just wondering who is following him behind. And when I just got to him, he was like, I'm like, gonna have to listen. I said, you want me? I said, yes, that. And then we just said,
it's actually still like even his word rounds, like if you ask what is this, it's supposed to be A and you say Z, side Z. Man say
so and he actually wants you. He wants you to pass. Yeah. He wants you to pass, but at the same time, as much as he wants you to pass, he wants to make sure that you know what you're doing. He's not going to pass you and you go out and kill people in the future. He's not going to do that. So that's one thing, no matter what it is.
So it was your Baba Dada.
We love the Yeson. In fact, it was more like we do stuff, we pray that Yeson should not hear about it. We fuck up, but Yeson should not hear about it because it's going to feel like we disappointed him. And because of that, myself and Femi Aino, Femi was the class rep. It was our class rep throughout this period. And I also became the president.
Your set is the first set. So that means you're the first BAM's president.
No, I wasn't the first. So we started the association in 2012. No, 2010 or 11-ish, while we were in Iwo. Then I became the president for the final set, or the set that was leaving. So because of that, a lot more people that kind of knew about me. They really wouldn't know that they have been president since that time. But while we're leaving, that said, I was president, and Femi I know was like the class rep in my class. So and we're just 23 students, and two of us, me and Femi, they're the students that you'll be looking for up and down. Basically, if you're not doing a session problem, we're actually going to chill somewhere. So every time in chapel, Professor Yesa does not have to even know what he just says. Okay, where is Jide? Jide, are you here? Femi, I know.
So you guys used to go to chapel like in Booth?
Yeah, we go to chapel on
Sunday. Go to chapel.
Is it Sundays? No, it's the Wednesday zone. That is supposed for, and he's always calling our name.
Yes, he made us write attendance. So like when it was still provost, like you attendance, everybody will sign. You can ask the entire class to stand up, and then you confirm, you cross check with the list he has and stuff.
But you know that the thing about that is, which we figured out later, or I figured out, is it's not even about attending the chapel. It's more or less about discipline. That's what the essence is about. It's not even, I mean, of course, you attend the chapel, you're going to listen to the word of God, you learn one or two things, but the fact that you can wake up, get set, and you know you're supposed to be somewhere, it makes you somewhat responsible. And in a way, it's going to reflect when you're done. Do you get, I was there, medicine rotation with this Dr. Shitu. Shitu was
Dr. Shitu was your what?
Shitu was a reg then. I've missed. There's something that I will miss.
So these people have been there since like that means.
And Shitu will give us word round for 5 a.m. 5 a.m. We're like, wow. So we are going to be there from 5 a.m. do our own word round till 6. Then the house officer will come, do his own from 6 to like 6:37. Dr. Arrow will now come. No, not Dr. Arrow. No, house officer then. Dr. Shitu will now come. Then Dr. Arrow will now come. Then we'll now do the consultants word round. So every day.
So that means the shaking I'm seeing is not even up to the
you guys are not see, in fact, they were trying to prove to the world that we have the best sets of doctors. So they drilled us.
It's still like, I feel like to some extent like in labor market like medicine.
No, of course.
Bowen Graduate.
No, it's not even about. I'm not even exaggerating. When I left, I was the first Bowen product that did his house job in UCH then. And from UCH, they were already telling people in Bowen that you guys are trying. So the competition was, I thought with their best sets of students, and those guys are fire, like they are good. Do you understand? And you wouldn't feel the difference, right? In fact, when it comes to like, I felt like clinical skills, I was way ahead of most of them. Most of them had never even said the cat star, bro. Look, say from like 4. When did you enter M1? Our M1 was very early.
Yes, M1 was very after intro posting.
Exactly. From M1, Dr. Shitu is already giving you cat star to pass. Like that's what these people are trying to battle with now. Cat star. So cat star, sideline, this and that. It was easy now. So they sort of respected the fact that Bowen produced good stuff. Professor Ajay, what's his name? Oh God, I can't remember his name. Professor. Is Ajay?
I don't know what you're talking about.
He is in medicine.
Arije.
What am I saying, Jare? So Professor Arije.
Ajay for me.
Yes, I thought there's JJ somewhere. So Professor Arije too was also consulting in UCH. So he stumbled on me. I was like, yeah, I'm here. And then it was exactly because of the feedback. Professor Bademosi too. Is it Bademosi? Yes, Bademosi now. Is he still there? You don't know Bademosi? You people are lounging. Are you serious? God damn it. There's no way that passed through Bowen, my set, the next set. So if once you know, and I think Professor Bademosi's clinic is on Tuesdays, that's the day you will dread. Because you must be prepared. In the clinic you'll be silent. I'm not even joking. Governors are calling Professor Bademosi. Well, what are they're gonna call him?
Wait.
He's gonna be like, hello. So you have to call me back. I'm presently seeing the patient. And his calls on governors, big people that everybody knew that. No, but he's a big man. He's very old. He's actually old now. I think the only issue I had was like when I got to UCH, which is when I realized my neurosurgery posting. I said there's surgery. I'm like, I've never seen a neurosurgery done in my life. But their students have seen this thing from 400 level, 300 level, 500 level.
Our own Euro study was online.
And then, you
Was
see, that's
on
what I'm
Zoom.
saying now. So we this one was live. And there was one they are going to open up the spine. I say, eh? I didn't even think that, I mean, I've heard of it, but I didn't think that we do that in Nigeria. Do you get? But I can boldly say that when I was my house job in UCH, there are very few people that will say that they actually did better than I did in house job then, even in all of this process. So I was just confident that, and it was because of the training, the discipline that we had in Bowen University. Because at that point in time, we felt like that's what it should be. I started the Professor Adebo competition in Bowen.
Oh wow!
And
You're a legend though.
yeah,
You're not
no.
telling me that you don't
No,
do
like I
that.
tried that. So that when I was president, we did a lot of things. Even before president, I did social director and a couple of things.
That's how all this.
But but I started the Professor Adebo competition in Bowen, and we invited all the other schools, and we still came first.
Yeah, I think
And we didn't
still
cheat.
like that.
We did not cheat.
It's
I
still
can put
like
you
that.
that we did not cheat.
Question.
We didn't even know, our students didn't know the questions. They didn't know it.
No.
Our students were rehearsing. They were training for the competition
That
without
you were
knowing the
hosting.
question that we are hosting. And there was this feeling of, if you like, when I go fail and come back, like everybody was there, and it was a thing of joy because it was the first one. If we had lost the first one, it wouldn't have been nice. And we had people from UI, from Ife, and the rest, and we still won. Because I know that we went for one competition in Ife. Hey God, that's a place that you should not go for competition.
Our voices are not going.
I am not, except they are milder. The competition was held in Awu Hall.
Oh yeah, no.
If you do see whatever school you are from, but was our private school, they insulted our life. They kept insulting us. If you lose a question, everybody's now laughing. Like full all. Even people that are not medical students, everybody just at the back like that. They will keep insulting you. That's one of our worst experience. That was one of it. When they were like, what's going on?
Well, like lately,
We didn't do well there, I won't lie. That one we didn't do so
competitions
well.
that Bowen has been like going for,
Mhm.
they've been coming back for, and it's not been bad.
Yeah, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not going to be surprised at all. Bowen is, Bowen has been, it was fun for my set. My set was fun. It was long, but it was fun. We had the best teachers. Our exams were difficult, very difficult. The exams that, I see they set questions for OSCE, even outside the look, say,
Waiting be this.
like it's that difficult.
I did my first OSCE last year, and it was not nice, so I can't.
What was it?
It wasn't, no, the results eventually came out, and fine, thank God, but like, like preparing for it was not exactly really easy, like, because you didn't know, and then Professor Arije, so like, you can't, Arije can just bring something, I can ask you this. Tomorrow is, I can ask you something like, you this Baba, how many things do you even, can you go to ask somebody, because what is all this, I can now like imagine when you're saying like it was very difficult.
No, it was difficult. But when we were done with school, we realized that those things were not so difficult. They are cheats to these things. They kept telling us, oh, come to ward round, oh, come to clinic. And we felt like, now we want to go and read. I'm not even joking with you. It is the clinic and the ward rounds that is going to make a difference eventually for you as a doctor anywhere. Not the reading. The reading is going to emphasize what you learn on the ward round. They keep telling you, common things occur commonly. You are going, you're now saying, bringing diagnosis that you write malaria, defend malaria, and get out. You will pass. I'm telling you. Just write malaria. Just write it. Defend your malaria.
It's true, because like
and you will pass.
No system in pediatrics.
So why are you looking for waiting all day?
We had this patient that she came with she had abdominal pain, she had headache, malaria and stuff. So as far it was abdominal pain, and then it was like this side. We're feeling.
Everybody's from appendicitis.
So,
I
was like, so we're presenting. So what are the differential diagnoses? Appendicitis, yes.
Why?
2 appendicitis. I don't know. Emma was like,
get out.
But you know, these patients could just have malaria.
Yeah.
I can never forget, because like malaria will always be top of my list.
No, but that's the thing. They keep telling us common things occur commonly. They will shout it like 100 times. But because you have read small book, you feel like, let me show my lecturer. But now when you now write complicated diagnosis, you have to now defend that diagnosis. So most times you're like, and it's not rocket sciences. They're telling investigations for almost all the diseases. There will be like 3 investigations you write. So it's almost, in a way, it's almost easy to pass if you actually apply yourself in the clinics. It's just how much have you applied yourself. It's scary at first because everybody is sort of, I don't embarrass myself, I don't do what's wrong. But it's better to just do that thing that is wrong now. Like, just do it during the clinic period, they fix it for you, you get it done and you move. Like, we do all those stuff there, no.
So like, did did they like teach you guys how to suture, or you like
Yeah, they
learned it
did.
on the job?
They did. She too did. Dr. Aro did. We used foam now. We're using foam up and down. And there's something that she too will always do for us. Dr. Shitu, before he said the disrespect.
I know.
But yeah, but no, of course, he knows that we do respect him a lot. I mean, there are times that we just come for when you're on call. I don't. Do you guys still do call too now?
No, see,
Yeah.
cool.
So, and our call is not you go by 8 p.m. You'll be there with the HOs till overnight.
Well,
We are
this is
there.
jackpass.
Dr. Shitu will just come or Dr. Aro will just come. Just call all of you on call. Okay, so go inside, go and bring one thing. If you bring syringe, fine. You bring glove, you bring whatever. You now say 10 uses of each of these things. You apply yourself somehow. I know you guys don't know Dr.
I
Aro.
don't know.
You
That's why I
cannot
can't
know.
relate.
God damn it. There are some people
But
that
the professor didn't even teach you.
I didn't know did. He came and
Yeah,
just come and
useless,
come and
very
talk.
kind
Yeah. No, I think people that will talk to you and you will sit down and think about your life. You have people like I didn't run one.
Ah.
You have Aro. And Aro's one is very subtle. There's one doctor in pediatric surgery. I don't know if he's still there. God, I've forgotten his name. His name.
Okay.
If he wants to talk to you, he's always going to talk to you as regards your reproductive organ. That's how he insults you all the time.
Ow, no.
I'm not even joking, like everybody knows him. And he's a very brilliant man. God, he's quite brilliant. So brilliant. I'm just like people that know, once they enter you, there's Ogunwabi. I don't know if Ogunwabi is still there.
Yes, I can.
Ogunwabi is a chilling guy. Very chilling.
They are messing it.
Very chilling. I know. In fact, if there's anybody that wanted us to maybe somehow think of psychiatry by any chance, it was going to be
He's
him.
entering into your heads now, psych.
Yeah, it's gonna be him. I just have a few people that also knew that I was into film even while I was in school.
Yes, I was
knows
also going
about
to
that.
ask, like they knew, like your consultants and
Eh?
like did they know? that
So
you
I
were
mean,
into film?
Jason suspected already, and that's why when he saw me recently, he was like, "You, I know his film you will do last." One thing. Then I think I shot my first feature length when I was in school. Shot my first feature length in 2014. 14 or 15, and I missed school for like a week.
Wow, a week.
And I
okay.
think they
I've
were
done a week.
doing like O&G, and it was the weekday, not even like weekend. During O&G, Doctor, what's his name again? Jesus Christ,
Olaja.
Ogunlaja, chilling guy.
Yeah.
He just paused. It's like where's Oyegbile?
You won't hear the last of it.
Everybody was not like they're trying to give excuse. Femi was there. That's how Femi now called me. I didn't even know it was on loudspeaker.
Yes, he does that thing.
Say,
How are you?
how are you? I said, I'm good. Where are you? I said, I went to the bank. I was even lying. I said, I went to the bank. He said, oh. I said, okay. We're in the theater. She is the bank. We'll wait. If I have stopped the surgery now. When you get here, we'll continue the surgery. I said, me that was in the lorry shooting. I said, go on. And I had to message him. I'm like, Papa, you know, say I'm not this good. What did they happen? Him is like, obviously we'll continue the surgery now. But it's like, you sabi say you don't deal. I mean, I came back and I went to see him obviously. It's like, oh, da 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 da. I should have told him now. So I went to shoot film. One. I even think that someone he heard someone even before I came. And it was like, so the problem is not even leaving, which was a bit weird for me. It was strange that he actually understood a bit. But I think the problem was that he was not aware of it, right? And the truth is, at that point in time, I didn't see why I was going to tell them. I expected that you were going to say no. Because this is not what my parents paid school fees for. They paid the school fees so you're here to become a doctor and learn this and that. But I actually thought that it was just going to say no. Everybody would say no. And in my mind, I was like, 100%. To be honest, 100% was one of my most chilling posts in terms of everything seemed easy in 100. In fact, I thought I was going to do 100. Both. Very exciting.
I don't want to face.
No, 100 is
I want to face.
100 is exciting. In fact, funny thing is, let me post you the 100 before 100's MB. The day before, me and Femi went to party. Like we came to the exam hall from party like the next morning. Like that's how we were calm about what you and no stress our life. You don't stress our life. The practicals, the whole thing. It was easy now. Like is it that was organic? Is that this emergency? This 5 emergency here, this 5 emergency here. Like it was not even hard. And like I keep saying, common things are called common. You can't change it. Oh, high blood pressure, eclampsia, pregnant. Like it was basic. Like 100 was straight to the point. And then because people were like an Ogunlaja, it was He didn't feel tense. He didn't feel tense. Yeah, he didn't feel tense.
But you see, right now, we have some.
It's just like I know the clacking can be long because you do the opposite
Opposite
street,
street,
the gynae
gynae
street,
street, index
paradise,
pregnancy.
but still,
Yeah.
it is it's just basics. Like to be honest, one is basic. You are looking for complicated things. Let them take you to medicine and give you a case that you don't even know what's going on. You now see that it's confusing. But the way medicine is, when I was in clinicals in 2012, I was like 10 songs. So a lot of people knew that I was already into entertainment, right? And then even during chapel time, there was drama, and I was in drama. So somehow you're gonna piece 1+1 together and say, nah, that's two. That's what this guy does, you know.
I don't have your boldness.
But no, but it was a lot. It was a lot of work, to be honest. My life constantly was medicine, film, football in school. That was it. Medicine, film, football, and then at a point in time, the association thing and all. Because also I was trying to make sure that I left a mark with the association. I'm like, I mean, now that you're here, maybe I should even give you. I think it's still here. I hope it's somewhere here. We have this. We had this sweatshirt that was really unique. It was so different. It was so different from every other one. Even the school's own, because the school made a sweatshirt for like the final, like this passing out, whatever. It wasn't as good as ours.
I think that's on your page.
Bowen medical something. We did that shit. That was mad. It was mad. Like our session was, I was dope. Now it was my set that we also registered with not IFMAC, the other one to FAMSA. But we were doing with IFMAC. We not registered with FAMSA also. I became the West African Regional Coordinator for FAMSA that period.
Yeah.
It was so busy. Like that period, that time was mad.
You did not tell me now.
But I wanted to flex. I know I wanted to, but at the same time, I was trying to make sure that I was able to put my school on the map. I needed to make sure that because it wasn't just for the school. It was also going to be for myself. So that when I get out and I mention Bowen University Medical, they were like, okay, we know it's not that. Oh, where's that? Because there's so many schools now that when you mention university, people like, where? Like recently, no offense to one university that I saw, I'm like, oh, is this in Nigeria? Mahado. Do you understand? I don't want that to be my case because that's going to speak for me later on, you know. And even when I moved, not like moved, when I adapted the whole filming thing, I'm still trying to make sure that anywhere I go, I'm like, hey, I went to Bowen University. And that's just because it makes it credible and it's going to get to a point where it feels like, let's list people that came out from Bowen University that are doing something nice, and you can list a couple of names that make sense. You know, so I mean, yeah, I've been too busy for football recently. Music, since 2012, I've not released any record. So busy for it. But filming is a lot because I write, I produce, I direct, I act, I sometimes shoot. So there's too many things that I'm already doing in film. It's not just with medicine that you can touch lives. I touch lives with audiovisual content, and it is still gold. From now till whenever, you're always going to need audiovisual content to tell your story. You're going to need audiovisual content to sell your product. So I'm always going to be relevant, and I can keep acting till I'm like 90 something. Then I don't have to retire.
That's nice. So when
But as a doctor, if I'm doing like if I'm doing surgeries, we'll get to a point where I'm going to start having fine tremors. I can't do that shit again. I'm sorry. I need you can't even stand for long.
So do you feel like you can do like direct or write a medical movie like?
I'm gonna do that, but I think it's expensive. That's my problem. And I would, if I'm gonna do it, well, maybe I can speak with Bowen sometime. Collaborate with Bowen, because I'm gonna need like a teaching hospital for the bigger scale. For the smaller scale, it's just like more like a private hospital thing. I've already written like I think about 4 or 5 episodes for the simpler one, which is just gonna be like a private hospital thing. But then I keep saying it. If I'm gonna do a medical series or a medical film, series preferably actually. It's going to be expensive. It's going to require a lot of research. On the bright side, because I'm a doctor, it's a bit easier, right? Because I don't want to make a film that is a medical series and like, oh, so that patient is sick. It's not that patient is sick. That patient has this. Do you understand? Because it has to be educative. And as much as it's educative, it has to be something that medical students, not even just medical students, people in the medical line in Nigeria would watch and learn a thing or two. And it's going to help them take care of patients better. At the same time, it's also going to portray to the outside world what our medical system looks like. Because funny thing is, our medical system is madness. That's the point. It's madness. I did my house job in UCH, like I said. I'm telling you that there's situations in UCH where they are telling a junior reg to stand on the table. Why? I can't even remember what the situation, whether it came late or there's just something. Obviously, you do something. What?
So
What?
most people that are like finishing school now don't want to pick UCH as
No, but the truth is,
house job.
I am so excited I went to UCH. I am so glad because that is UCH will drill you.
But
Is
you
it
used
really?
to go and buy food.
They did. I found my way around it. It was only in neurosurgery department they were going to try that with me. But I realized that when they send you to buy food, it's because you are not strong
You're
enough.
not busy.
You're not strong enough. If you are strong enough, they'll keep you in the ward. They will go and buy their food and eat. So most times, they'll be like, this one way no go. Yeah, you gotta help us go and buy food. And
Happy got you there from
when they wanted to do that with me in neurosurgery, I knew how to put my phone somewhere. I'm busy. Or when you now call me later, why did you pick up the call? I'm trying to retrieve the result from the lab, and my phone was not with me. Oh, okay. You can't accuse me for that.
Yeah.
So I figured my way around it, and there's no way you do UCH that you won't be strong. And then because I knew I was going to do film, I wanted to make sure that after Bowen University, there was a limit to what I could learn in Bowen University. Like I said, neurosurgery and stuff were not involved. I needed a place that is very strong. I don't mind how stressful or strenuous it is. I wanted a place that is very strong so that I can be done with house job and know that I've not lost anything. I'm good. So UCH, as toxic as I say it might be, it's just because there are too many people that know what they're doing better. That's part of why. And if you do UCH, forget it. There's no way you're not coming out strong. You may not get to do so many surgeries, right? But you would have experienced so much. I think NYC posted to Kemi. I redeployed to Lagos because I now wanted to do film. My dad was not exactly excited about that. He felt like I should be in Kemi because if I actually wasn't Kemi, I probably would have done like 300 or 400 operations before they Kemi, which would have been an advantage. Is it not? They don't really have so many doctors. Then I moved to Lagos 2018 with the NYC thing. If I can say that what you want to pay me it doesn't make sense. Like, get out. I have a place I'm making money from. So I had a say somehow, right? I've gone for auditions before that. They're like, no, we cannot pay this one. They didn't even ask me how much. They just agreed and knew that they could not afford me on the spot. And I don't know how to kiss ass. I hate that thing a lot. Like, and medicine has already made me proud. So I'm like, I'm about fuck off. If you're not good, just free me. If you want me to do it, I'll do it. Those kind of vibe, right? So, that was what I kind of committed like the first 4 years into doing. I used that to develop my skills. It's up to 4 now. This is 2023. So I think I did it pretty fast because I directed my first cinema film in 2021. I mean, I also did KOB with Kemi Adetiba.
I know that
done a couple
KOB
of
was,
things and stuff.
it was,
So
I didn't even know, like, somebody was telling me that, do I know jblaze? And then I'm like, that was in like 2021-ish. And then I'm like, it sounds familiar, but I don't think I know. You probably know her.
Who's that?
Ife, Sarah.
I know.
Yeah. So we're quite close. So she was telling me that how come I don't know him, that I know that he likes media stuff like YouTube and stuff like that. And then I'm like, okay, so she now opened your Instagram page and she was like, didn't you watch King of Boys? I'm like, yes, I did. I'm like, it's the one in King of Boys and stuff. So I went to watch it. I'm like, So this guy finished from Bowen and stuff. I'm like, okay. But I tried that part that you vex for that. Bolo, whatever. No, you were Bolo.
That was Bolaji,
yeah. And then you vex for him, like, please get out. I said, I watched it recently, and then I'm like,
That was still like, that's like 2021. I think we acted 2020, came out 2021.
yes.
Yeah, I think that
Because I was
was
in
it.
Dr. Shitty's clinic that day. I was there watching it, I couldn't wait.
But I'm more excited that I went through that process. I'm more excited that I, graduated. Which is what I keep telling people, like, yo, even if you have a dream, you can just finish the school. You get why? Even not for the discipline you're gonna get, you're gonna be more mentally grounded. Leaving my clinic, I'm paying somebody else to cover for me. So now I'm paying the person with the money they're gonna pay me normally. So now if I'm gonna go for this one, then you have to at least cover the amount that I'm being paid in the clinic. And as of 2018, 2019, if I divided the money, I think it was maybe like a 10 or 15K per day in the hospital, which was so ridiculous. That was part of the reason I'm like, what the hell? Medicine is actually not worth it like that in this country.
Not to even talk about how much we pay.
I'm not even joking. So it was so bad. In fact, it got so bad that the day I made what I was going to make in a month as a doctor, I made it in a day. I said, wait, what am I doing in this hospital? Like,
Love it.
Like, what am I doing in this hospital? Because now you're going to treat a patient, it's not your fault. They come and hook you and say you have killed their. I'm like, rubbish. I don't get time, like, at all. I care about you guys, but even in usage, I was treating patient with my money. I gave a patient drug one. I mean, money's gonna buy a drug for for her son. And the man was like, please, what about transport money?
Walk from this age.
You say to Kunliara, you cannot walk. You're saying, I beg.
People do too much. So.
No, of course. Leave school, travel out. I plab, write yourself.
I was going to ask you, like, have you tried to, like...
No, I never tried. I never tried plab. I didn't even. I just tell my friends, they're writing IELTS. I say, English. Wow. Well done. They will come back and say, oh, they passed this, but they do not have 7.0. And I'm like,
yeah, that thing.
Are you normal? Like, what's all this madness? But I didn't write that. I already told my friends, I'm like, look, plab and stuff. I mean, I know I'm still probably going to travel soon. I don't know when yet. But all these things are what I'm going to write at my convenience. Nobody pressure. You can't even pray pressure can even affect me. That's one. Fuck that shit. I think all my classmates, out of 23 of them, if there's anyone in Nigeria, they cannot be more than 2 or 3 now. Every other person is outside the country, married outside the country, have kids. Like it's, and I'm happy for them. Like I'm so excited. And we just regular with and the rest. But most importantly for me is when I'm done with life, everybody's gonna be like, you know what, that guy enjoyed his life. Not he was working to enjoy his life and he couldn't enjoy it. I'm like, yo, forget that thing. I want you to be able to call me tomorrow and be like, yo, Alpha, you free? Let's go to Spain. I'm like, yeah, no, let's go. You get person to give us passport. I'm going to go stamp our visa. Yeah, let's go. Like that's fine. But if I felt like if I was just doing medicine, I was thinking, hey God, I have to tell this registrar or my CMD that I need to go. My guys, man, don't worry. Why? That's why I have a couple of private patients. I get another person to cover for my shift, and I go to work. I go to act on set. And then patient is coming and like, no, it is Oyegbile they want. I'm like, I don't understand.
No, why do you want me?
You don't have to want me. This person knows what I know. Let him treat you.
Want someone else.
So now they now report to the MD, and the MD is now calling me and saying, where are you? Why are you in the hospital? The patient are asking for you. And they're not being, we're not paid well enough. If you have to go to the hospital 2 days a week, and the money you're going to be paid will cover for your bills comfortably. If you think you need more money, you take more shifts. But if you say doctors should go to the hospital 2 days a week, the doctors are not going to be enough for the patients anyway. Then you cannot live your life. It's a heck of work. If not, it's a heck of work. My dad has done it. I have done it. So it's a generational thing. It's not one new thing. It's a heck of work. And their time is even better. Because he went to UCH, and in the school time, he was telling me that they would take their clothes to go and iron it. They would dry clean it and bring it back for them.
Oh yeah, I read that thing.
I'm like, wait, what?
Sorry, my granddad's time said they used to give them chicken, like they used to give them.
Have you seen their call food?
I think they used to give them. They used to give them cards. I think when they graduate, they give each student a Mercedes or something.
Like I'm not even joking. Like correct life. I told him, I said,
right
look,
now.
don't even compare your time with our time right now because it's easier to pass in your time. They are dry cleaning your clothes. We that we go and wash our clothes. We go and check if it's dry. Come and iron it ourselves.
As if you meet it.
Don't even try it. I used to tell you, I say your time, what did you study? Was there HIV? Now in our home, there's HIV in pregnancy.
Yeah,
there's HIV. Everything you first learn HIV in all of them again. You don't have those stuff now. So I think that it gets harder. Studying medicine now gets actually harder.
And there's COVID. And
There's
Ebola.
There's new everything.
There's Lassa fever. When I wanted to do pattern farm microbiology, it was so terrible that like read on the recent diseases and then you see a list of recent diseases and like
such a lot. It's such a lot. You can't put it aside. But that's what I feel like. Oh, times are different. Medicine is difficult. Combining medicine with other things is actually difficult, but it just makes sense because irrespective of what you studied, even if you are studying law, check all of them. They're also learning something else.
Yeah.
If you study engineering, learn something else. My brother studied subsea engineering. Apart from the fact that he's a research assistant for that, he's more into like forex trading and a lot of more things. He's not even sitting on just that thing. You can't do that. You have to just learn one or two things. Add it to your skills. If you are just hung up on, you can try to be the best doctor in the world.
Yeah.
Well done. But I feel like you just need to put something else. You need to get something else. Do something else. Know something else. Skills. Like your skills can never go away. Can never. Even if you're a doctor and you just know stuff in your head, right? If you don't even have a skill as a doctor, you're still useless. That's the truth. How can you maneuver situations that are terrible?
I was going to ask you to advise us, we young bloods, but I think you've done that.
Last class, I feel like You know, like make everybody just advise themselves. I
Yay!
say no, like just know what works for you. Don't compare yourself with your classmate. Like don't even do that shit for any reason, because everybody's journey is different entirely. You see, I don't know, they'll talk about me. They say, oh, man, forget that shit. Nobody's thinking about you. They're only thinking about you at that moment, bro. Everybody's gonna move on. Your classmates are gonna get married. They're gonna get married. Life is gonna go like this. That's gonna go like this. The same people they follow Playboy every day. You're not gonna see each other again for years. And it doesn't mean that we're fighting or anything. It's just that life you get. And their priorities have changed. I can't be speaking to my guy, oh, Pokish, how far now? What did they happen? He's like, but I gotta go home, I get picking. Do you understand? Or you get that kind of vibe. And you gotta understand that people are different, life is different. So that your classmates, where they look today. And the other thing that people just obviously need to do is to connect. And when you're connecting, don't connect with your fellow medical students. You have to connect with other people. Because when you come out into the labor market, you're going to get into situations where you will see that, because obviously your other courses will finish before you. So you see that person that was in mass comm, that you did look at like say, now you did medicine now you sabi book.
So
This one just did. It's not that it's going to be head of HR and they'll be looking at you like this.
that is true.
And then they will not be asking head of HR, what do you think about this person? Oh, this one is proud, let him go. And that's it. Do you get? But and that's just because you didn't connect well or you're trying to be proud. But if you're connected, then this same head of HR is probably one that will tell you, don't tell them you will take 200k, tell them 400k, because now you're a guy. And it's just all about networking. Yeah. So network with your peers, don't compare yourself with each other. Do your shit, learn a skill. Do not be shy to show people what you can do. Put it out there. Yo, if it's bad, they'll forget about it. If it's good, they'll still forget about it. So just move on. That's what I think. No, I'm an actor.
Oh,
I do this
yeah,
for a
yeah,
living.
that's
I'm
true.
sorry.
Do you have anything you want to ask me?
That I want to ask you, why are you doing a YouTube channel?
Why? Because I like it. Because I've always loved it. I've always wanted to.
What has been the most challenging part of it?
Having to, like combine with school sometimes. It's quite, because like I have to edit myself. I have to, like do other things, YouTube incline and stuff. So sometimes it's crazy having to. And
But it only gets easier.
make your parents proud.
It only gets easier because, like every other person, the beginning is always the toughest. That's what I just figured out. And I keep telling all my guys that are in film, especially that I can use as an example, check where you were last year and where you are this year. It is never the same place. There's always growth, always. As long as you feed something, it's going to grow. It's just basic. It's the rule of life. Once you feed it, it grows. Once you feed it, it grows. Once you stop feeding it, it stops. Yeah.
How old that? Because because last year, like I've been thinking about like having to like reach out to some people, like celebrities and stuff, and like make videos with them. And so I've always thought of it, but in my mind I'm like, I will now just barge into somebody's DM and I'll say good afternoon.
No, but I mean the worst you're gonna get is a no.
Oh, they don't even answer. I'm really grateful for this
It's
opportunity. So before I go, I have something for you from my YouTube
Okay.
channel.
Fantastic. Okay.
I have that for you.
Thank you. You see, right? You wrote Dr. Jiblaze, not Mr. You see that's right. I'm just,
Yeah, I like it.
used to.
I like the Dr. Jiblaze.
Yeah, I do. Am I supposed to bring this out?
No, it depends on you.
It depends on me.
Yeah.
The work cannot wait to experience you. You rock. I love it. I love it. Thank you. This is me, right?
It's supposed to
I'm
be
pulling
you.
your legs. I'm
It's
pulling your
supposed to be
legs.
you.
Well, yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. How do you know my size?
It's not you that told me.
Yeah, I told you. I swear I can't remember. I can't remember. Well, thank you so much, and I really do hope that, your stuff, opens door for you, and I hope that you don't give up. All right.
Take care of yourself.